2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey guys, it's Charlie here from Spec Moto. Today we got a super special video. It's going to be filmed over a couple days actually. Today is Saturday before round 1 of the Triple Crown series. And here we have Dylan Wright's number 9 CRF 450 GDR Honda machine. It's clean, it's shiny right now, but at the next clip that you guys are going to see, we're going to take this bike home, war torn off the second moto. We're not even going to wash it. Cory's going to bust out a new clutch, an oil change, and an air filter for us, and we're taking the bike as is from the second moto, and we're going to get to ride it, let you guys know what it's like to ride one of these pros bikes. Previous clip that I said, Cory was kind enough to scrub the bike up, but other than that, it's fresh off the track exactly how Dylan raced it in the second moto. So we're gonna go see what this thing's all about after that hero ride in the second moto, see if the bike lives up to the hype of how well he rode today.
Finish the line and give the old guy. I was like, oh yeah.
What are we doing?
Doing the old push test, the Ryan Lockhart suspension test school here. Wrapping things up here on Monday after the Calgary National. Just finished up here out at Nietzsche Valley MX. Huge thank you to Judd Hillock and his family for letting us come out here. Pretty much everything's closed on Mondays around Alberta here, so it was great to find a really cool home track, some awesome elevation through the trees, great layout. Honestly, like I think this place would be a potential great race venue, to be honest. The track is wicked. So yeah, got to take home Dylan Wright's bike fresh off the track. Washed, oil change, air filter, but other than that is exactly how it sat from the race. And we saw Dylan had a couple crashes, one kind of tip over, one fairly significant crash in the second moto there, and the bars were still tweaked, the wheel was still offset there, so we did a little bit of straightening out to get going, but fresh off the track, this is how the bike left the Calgary National. It was such a cool experience, to be honest, getting to ride a bike of this caliber. These teams put in so much effort and work building this bike to suit their riders' needs, and you can really tell it has that fit and finished feel, far better than anything I've ever ridden up until this point. So I was super impressed with the bike's just overall feel. Everything just feels so crisp and fresh. The throttle response and clutch feel, brakes. The front brake was amazing. It had this really great initial bite to the lever, but it wasn't too overpowering to break the traction of the front wheel very easily. So very progressive feel. It slowed the bike down in a very predictable manner, but a ton of power there. Like, it was really noticeable that this front brake had a lot of jam there when you needed to slow down. So that was pretty cool. I guess jumping on the bike, the first thing that grabs your attention when you're riding a bike like this is just how connected the power is. Working with the Get ECU guys and Bondi Engines, they've come up with an engine package here that was pretty mind-blowing, to be honest. I was saying to Jess behind the camera here, like, it's amazing how connected the bike is. It's almost like it's an extension of your throttle hand. Like, it's so intuitive when you come out of a slippery corner and apply the throttle in a smooth manner. Like, the wheel just hooks up, and you don't think that a standard fuel injected bike nowadays has some sort of delay or hesitation until you ride something like this that's just so connected, so crisp, and like I said, it's almost like an intuition feel, the power delivery of this bike. Also, like, just the overall breadth of the power. Like, it had such a wide range of usable power. I could come out of a corner in third gear. Third gear was probably the preferred gear. Second gear was a little bit short in some of these corners today, where third gear still had the ability to pull and roll on out of the turn. But then as the RPMs climb, the bike just pulls and pulls and pulls, and it's almost like the rev limiter doesn't exist for a 450. Like, very, 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 very soft rev cut, rev drop at the top end of the RPM range on this bike. It doesn't fall off on its face at all. It does let you know when you are past the rev range, but it doesn't fall off at all. There was one section today that you kind of jump into a farm field and go very high RPM throttle pull in fourth gear, and it just felt like it would go forever and ever and ever. And it was very interesting to see that you could literally ride a normal track in one gear if you had to. Obviously, it's not the preferred way to do it, but third gear had so much connection down low and a smooth roll on delivery, and then just the overall range that it would pull through was incredible. So yeah, the motor was honestly the most impressive thing to me. I'm too big for the bike for spring rates and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to get a super fair assessment of the suspension that way, but the overall handling of the bike was really, really good as well. Very planted to the ground. The bib moose do have a little bit of a different feel, kind of a dead, connected feel to the track. So when you hit square edges, the bike doesn't react super aggressively. The Honda in stock trim is a bit more of an aggressive, quick handling bike. It likes a lot of front end bite. It does turn down rather quickly. Maybe gives up a little bit of stability for that cornering prowess, where this bike was the opposite. Very, very stable and planted, still cornered great, but it just felt glued to the track in a way. Like today, the conditions were a little bit dry for sure, a little marbly after some prep and then rain, and it still felt really connected to the ground, which I thought was really interesting. Like it was very planted, very predictable, and I was honestly surprised how plush initially the suspension is. It's very forgiving on that square edge chop, and then when you do push it into its travel, again, me being way too heavy for the spring rates on this bike, it still had a lot of progression and hold up. So they obviously have the suspension figured out for Dylan as the track got rougher and rougher in Calgary. That's when he obviously put the charge on and was showing his best stuff. So the handling of the bike was really good. Obviously, me being too big wasn't a fair assessment of it compared to someone like Dylan's size, but yeah, like honestly, I was felt really connected and secure on the bike as well. Like we talked about in our other video that you can see on our channel with talking with Cory the mechanic. Dylan really likes a lot of grip tape. He's got the ultra tacky grips, razor sharp foot pegs, and then a really cool piece that this bike has is they have the frame extensions, the carbon fiber panels here just down above the foot pegs that are the same as the HRC bikes in America that the Lawrence brothers race. And having that extra panel to clamp your boots onto and grip the bike, it was really like you felt really locked into this bike. When you're standing up and you have your kind of on the balls of your feet and tuck your heels into the bike, your side of your ankles, your heels into the bike, you get really a ton of grip, a ton of traction. And it did step out a little bit in some of the marbly dry sections, and it was really noticeable to be able to kind of rein the bike in and hold it secure with that amount of grip tape and those extra panels to grip on the bike. So it's really cool. Like you get to learn, I feel like you get to learn a lot about a rider when you try their bike out, and you can definitely see how this bike fits Dylan. Obviously, he's a very aggressive rider, hard on the throttle, hard on the brakes, really sends it when he's going for it. There's certain riders that go fast and they're super smooth and it doesn't look as fast as it is, where Dylan, when he's going fast, it looks fast. And this bike rewards that kind of riding. I'm definitely a bit more of a smooth, conservative rider in comparison, but when I found myself just kind of throwing caution to the wind, hammering the throttle out of turns, really charging into stuff and grabbing the brakes a bit harder, it rewarded that style of riding a lot more than my smooth, manageable style riding. So it's really interesting. Like you can see a lot about how a person rides or how a person is based on their bike. So aggressive suspension settings, the motor, while aggressive with a ton of power, was really connected and smooth on the harder conditions, but a little bit of clutch and grab the throttle, it really wakes up. Like I can see how on a start this bike would do really well. It pulls through the deeper stuff and just, it doesn't feel like anything would slow it down. It's very, very powerful, but in a very controlled delivery, where even the stock Honda has a bit more of a sharp power characteristic, kind of idle to quarter throttle is a bit of a sharp transition there. This bike was very smooth and connected in that same transition, but just felt like it had a lot more behind it. So that was really cool today. Like honestly, this was such a really cool experience for me. I'm such a fan of the sport, as well as trying to still race a little bit here and there. So getting to ride one of these teams' bikes was such a cool experience, and really appreciate everything that the GDR Honda guys did to accommodate this with us. They were great to deal with, and like I said, taking the bike fresh off the track, seeing other tests done on other platforms where they take a brand new bike and it's all shiny and cool. Like that is a cool way to do it, but we thought, hey, let's look at this thing fresh off the track after Dylan just absolutely hammers it, where it's incredible. Like you start looking around this bike and seeing some of the details, the graphics, the edges of the stickers here up on the radiator shrouds, the amount of grip tape missing from the frame, the wear on the tires. Like from 2 motos, it's incredible how much wear and tear these guys put on the bikes in under an hour total ride time. So that was really interesting to see how the bike was after the motos. And yeah, obviously Dylan's a beast, and you kind of get a little picture into what makes him him when you take a look at his bike. So yeah, really cool experience. Again, thank you so much to the GDR Fox Racing Honda Canada team. We'll be hopefully doing some more videos like this on some cool projects in the future. So stay tuned to the channel, and we'll see you on the next video.